Hi, and welcome back to the Lex E. Rojas vlog. I'm your host, Lex E. Rojas, aka Dakota Woolmer, aka Dakota Wolf. During my last live stream, I caught you guys up on the week that I had missed of not doing a vlog. But before I could get to the following week, my stuff in the washing machine was done, so I had to go get that. So now I'm going to catch you up on that week and this week that just happened. And I keep forgetting to mention the cooking video that I finally posted. Go check it out, Basic Bitch Cooking, Episode 1. So this beautiful man and I met up at Red Lobster on Friday the 13th for our Valentine's date. He brought me some roses and we had a lovely dinner, and then we just sat in this little plaza and chit-chatted. Eventually we got up and walked to Bryant Park and checked out the Japanese bookstore that's over there for like the 10 minutes that it was still open. On Saturday, I obviously did laundry and my live stream, and then at home I did the folding and I packed the suitcases after vacuuming out the suitcases so that they'd be nice and clean for the trip. And I looked on my Lyft app and found that my ride had been canceled, so I had to reschedule it. In the morning, we actually got ready really fast and we were out of the house a little bit early, which is great. The toddler got car sick right at the end, right as we approached the airport. She started throwing up on herself, so I'm like trying to catch it with my hands and it's all chunky and disgusting, and like I'm apologizing to the Lyft driver, who's this like nice Russian man. He's like, no, it's okay, these things happen, here's paper towel, it's all right. I gave him a big tip, at least I think it was a big tip. I don't think any vomit actually got in his car, but oh my god, the one time my baby gets car sick and it's in someone else's car and it's right as we pull up to the airport. She couldn't wait till we got out of the car to puke. Like obviously she's 2, she can't wait, but oh man, oh that was rough. So once we arrived at the airport, we went to the little kiosk to check the luggage, and then we got in line and they told us the bag was 50 pounds over, but I had actually packed one bag diagonally inside another bag with the plan to bring more stuff home on the way back, and they were going to charge us $100 for that extra 10 pounds. So I was like, give me a minute. I brought it over, I rearranged stuff, and then both were under the 50 mark, and I was able to go back to straight up to the front. And then they took care of our bags and we went upstairs, and we waited in the TSA line to get to the metal detector. And I gave the guy my passport because I don't have a real ID. And he said there was a mistake on the boarding pass and they had my wrong birthday because my sister had booked the flight, and she got a little confused. My mom and brother share a birthday that's 2 days before my birthday. So she put their birthday instead of mine, but she put the correct year. And so then I had to go back downstairs, get that fixed, and then I got to go back upstairs and skip the TSA line. And then we passed this really cool display that had like an airplane and an XOXO and balloons and stuff for Valentine's Day. And a nice gentleman offered to take our picture for us. I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't want someone to steal my phone, you know? But thankfully he didn't steal my phone and he took some nice pictures of us. So we thanked him and then we continued toward our gate. Takeoff was a little rough because my toddler started screaming that she wanted to be let out of her seat, so I had to pick her up and put her in my lap. Then she fell asleep in my lap, but before she fell asleep she was still fussing a little bit, and the flight attendant, she comes up to me and she's like, how old is she? You know, a little nervous, and I'm like, oh, she's 2. And she goes, okay, just hold her tighter. I was like, okay. So I held her tighter, and then when she fell asleep, I snuck her back into the seat that she had been in, and I recorded this lovely footage of our taxiing and takeoff experience as we left the airport to take our 2-hour and 43 minute flight to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So as we were beginning our descent, the baby was fussing again, so I picked her up again, and then the younger flight attendant came straight to me, and the other one was like near her. It was weird. They like both came to me, and the younger one is like, you need to buckle her in. And I was like, oh, okay. But I'm like, she's gonna freak out and the rest of the passengers are gonna be bothered by her screaming. I was like, all right, well, the flight attendant told me to, so if you want to be mad at anyone, don't be mad at me, be mad at her. So I buckled in the baby and I tried to keep her distracted. I showed her pictures on my phone and stuff, and then she grabbed my phone and she messed it up. So what's normally like the top half of the long ways, the vertical screen, turned into the bottom half sideways horizontally, and I couldn't get into the phone because I couldn't unlock it, I couldn't restart it, I couldn't turn it off, and I'm like freaking out because it's on airplane mode. How do I call my sister and let her know that we're there? What do I do? And I was like, you know what, just do what you would normally do when you're getting off a plane. Just go. We used the bathroom, we went down to baggage claim, and as soon as we got down there, our stuff was already on the carousel, so we just ripped it off the carousel and we walked toward where it said like taxi and pickup. So we walked over there. I had the girls get their jackets on because I expected it to be really cold. So we got our jackets on and we went outside and we looked for my sister's car and I couldn't see her anywhere. And then this man comes up to us in a hoodie and he goes to my older daughter, "Hello, AJ." And I was like, who the heck? Like, how do you know my daughter's name? And I look, and it's my brother, okay? And the reason this is such a surprise is he lives in Florida, so he was up in Wisconsin visiting my family and his mother, and nobody told me. They kept it a secret for a week and a half just so he could surprise me at the airport. I was so shocked and happy, and it was great. So we got in his rental truck and we started driving toward my sister's house, and then my other sister called and she was like, "Listen, my daughter's birthday party is still happening. Do you guys just want to come straight here?" And they had lots of fun. We were there for about an hour, and the baby fell asleep on the way back to my other sister's. So we stopped at the grocery store where my brother and my older daughter went in, and I stayed in the car with the sleeping toddler. And then I recorded the intro to this video on Monday. My older daughter and her cousin went to Urban Air, and my younger daughter and their other cousin stayed. We put together some Legos, and then they took a nap. I answered some emails regarding casting, and then we went on a walk, and then the two younger girls drove around in a toy Jeep, and eventually the older girls came home from Urban Air. We went to the park because it was like 60 degrees out, and here's the amazing outfit I had on. We call this fun over 40. In the evening, the production team had a virtual meeting. And then on Tuesday morning, my uncle Gus came and picked us up to go visit the Milwaukee Domes. This is some footage that I grabbed in the Tropical Dome after my sweet baby pricked her hand on a cactus. On Wednesday was my sister's birthday, and we went to a place called Ninja, which is a hibachi and sushi place. We had lots of fun. And then Thursday was interesting because I went back to the chiropractor for the first time in 13 years. Okay, I used to go weekly, all right? I have very bad back pain, and I really, really needed that chiropractor appointment, so I'm very glad that I finally got to go. And I used my mom's car, which is not the one I'm driving right now. This is my sister's car, or vehicle. Technically not a car, it's like an SUV, I think. So Thursday after the chiropractor, I met up with my friend Carol from high school, who I haven't seen in 15 years, and we took our kids to a place called Kids in Motion, and yeah, we had a great time. Then we went to Culver's for lunch because I don't get to go to Culver's because I live in New York City. And then we went home, which was actually, by home I mean to my sister Nova's house, which was a bit of a debacle because there was not only construction, but there was also a car accident on the alternative route. So then we got all turned around, and it took like an extra 15 minutes to get there. And it was just crazy. In the evening we had hot dogs and ice cream, and we watched Elio, which is something I've been wanting to watch for quite a while. I don't think they did a great job advertising it, but they did a great job with the movie itself. Friday morning, we piled in the car, my two kids and my sister's child, and we drove 3.5 hours up to northern Michigan. And that's where I'm driving right now, in Kingsford, Michigan. It is Saturday morning. Last night we went swimming. And this morning we had the continental breakfast. Then we went to my other sister's house, where I left my kids in the charge of my older sister, who's calling me right now. Where was I? Yes, as I was leaving my sister's house to go to my dad's to check his basement for stuff that we've left there for the last like 3 years, I tried to take a back road route that I would normally take, only to realize that it's ski slope weekend. So the continental ski
championship or whatever it's called is happening, and that road takes me past there, so it's like closed to through traffic. So then I had to take an alternative route, and then my sister called me while I was recording this video, and she said that they forgot the toiletry bag for our kids at the American, so now I have to go back all the way to the hotel, get the stuff, drop it off with her, and then go to my dad's. So obviously I neither finished editing nor posted my vlog entry on Saturday. This is because I spent, I think it was about 7 hours going through things in my dad's basement, and I successfully found 90% of the items that I was charged with finding. So yippee! I did at one point lose the car key because it was connected via paperclip to a lanyard, because my one sister was borrowing my other sister's car, and the sister whose car we were borrowing, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to only give us one key for the car. So the sister who was borrowing the car took the key, attached it with a paperclip to a lanyard that she had, and then I subsequently lost said key. It actually fell off into one of the boxes in my dad's basement, so I had to start systematically going backward through the boxes, which took me an extra like 20 minutes. I cried, I prayed, and eventually I found it. And when I got back to the hotel that night, I had received a message that said my flight the following morning was canceled because of a blizzard going toward NYC. My sister and I spent hours on hold with United Airlines customer service. Thankfully, we were both trying to contact them at the same time, because they hung up on me after 2 hours and 47 minutes of waiting. And she got me a new flight for Tuesday morning, but it flew out of Chicago at 7 a.m., which means we had to drive from Milwaukee at 3 in the morning to get there 2 hours early, because you always want to get to the airport at least an hour and a half early, especially when you're traveling with children. The good news is that on Sunday morning we didn't have to rush out of the hotel to drive 4 hours to get to the Milwaukee airport. So instead we had the continental breakfast again and did a little swimming. Visited my dad quick, and then we drove 3.5 hours to Germantown, Wisconsin.
Monday was mostly spent running up and down my sister's stairs doing laundry, as well as packing some boxes full of stuff from my dad's basement to mail to ourselves. By the end of the day, my joints were killing me.
So Monday night I was supposed to stay at my other sister's house in Milwaukee in preparation for the very early morning drive to Chicago International Airport, O'Hare. Yes. Unfortunately, we received another message saying that our flight was canceled. So we had to go through customer service again. This time it was a lot quicker of a process. We weren't on the phone for 5 hours, and we were able to get another flight for Tuesday. So we actually even were able to do it like later in the morning. So we didn't have to get up at 3 a.m. and we were able to fly out of Milwaukee. So Tuesday morning we got to Milwaukee Airport early, and I let the kids play in the play area, which happened to be right across from a Dunkin' Donuts, while we waited for our flight. So then, while we're in the play area, the kids are having fun, they're playing. The baby comes and tells me that she needs a diaper change. So we're forced to walk all the way to the other end of Terminal C to get to the bathroom. And I drop my caramel ice latte, of which there was at least half left. I don't want to talk about it. Some very kind lady brought over napkins, and I soaked up the spill and lamented about how my partner wasn't there with us because, you know, traveling right now is really risky with ice. Like, I even had their birth certificates with me just in case someone said they looked too Mexican or something. And call me paranoid, but the flight from Milwaukee went off without a hitch. Very short though, because there was a 2-hour layover in Chicago. So we might as well have just driven the 2 hours to Chicago. But, you know, no one really wanted to make that drive. So after the layover, we got on a plane, got up in the air. We were up there for like 10, 15 minutes. And then the captain announced that we had to turn back around and go
land back in Chicago because something was wrong in the cockpit. Then we all started getting, well, I don't know if we all did, but I started getting text updates from United Airlines saying that there was an issue with the windshield and they were switching us to a new plane. So as soon as we landed, there'd be a plane that would be able to get on within an hour. Everybody piled off. We waited. Then they changed it from, it was supposed to go at like 7:35. Then they changed it to 7:45 p.m. Okay, not too bad. Then they pushed it back further to like, I think it was 8:15. Because I guess the captain had hit his maximum number of flight hours. So they had to find a new captain. So they found a new captain and they get us all boarded and we're waiting. And then I get a text alert that the flight isn't leaving until 8:50 p.m. because I guess something was wrong with that pilot too. And they had to find another captain. So the captain finally came on the plane. They had us give him a round of applause, which we haven't made it home yet. I don't really want to cheer for this guy. How do I know we're even going to make it off the ground, let alone not have to turn around a second time? So we get up in the air and thank all of the gods from every religion because finally we were in the air and we made it all the way to Newark Airport around 1 a.m. And my brother-in-law ordered us a lift. A couple guys canceled, and then eventually we found a driver who was going to pick us up. Said he was like 15 minutes away. So we were like, all right. Then it went from 15 minutes to 22 minutes. And then the guy canceled. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to order from mine. Thankfully, when I ordered the lift, it was like $65, which is amazing compared to how much it cost to get there in the first place. And I had a couple people cancel. Then finally we found someone who the driver had to actually get to Brooklyn anyway, so it worked out. We made it home, and everyone was still awake. Paco had spent like 2 hours making a snowman to greet us, and his mom had made a sign that said, "Welcome back home." Look at this poor melting snowman. He's just a melty boy. And they had bought little goodie baskets for the kids. And around this time, it was like 2 a.m. So I decided not to send AJ to school the next morning because it's not fair to have an 8-year-old try to function on 5 hours of sleep. That's like, it's one thing for an adult to go to work on 5 hours of sleep, but a child go to school, try to learn something on 5 hours of sleep, your brain is not functioning. So I kept her home. On my way to work Wednesday morning, I got myself a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant from Dunkin' Donuts and a caramel iced latte to make up for the one I had lost the day before. Rest in peace. To get my creative juices flowing, I actually wrote a poem about writer's block. Writer's block can suck a cock, humming the Stargate theme, distracted by every meme. Overtired, 5 hours of sleep, but for over a month haven't written a peep. Always an excuse every time. I wish not writing were a crime. If it was the law, I'd get it done. If it was the law, it wouldn't be fun. Writing is work, but also my quirk. Take a deep breath and try again. Just scribble something with the pen. It doesn't have to be any good. Write because you know you should. I had surprisingly gotten some writing done Wednesday morning on the way to work, as well as Thursday morning. I ordered lunch Wednesday because obviously getting home at 2 a.m. I had no time to prepare anything for breakfast or lunch. So I ordered from this place called Teriyaki Master, including a mango green tea boba, which sounded amazing, but when I received it, the very first sip tasted like there was dish soap in it. And then I looked at it closely and it kind of looked like there was dish soap in it. So I decided, heck, I'm going to complain on the app and also throw this down the sink because I'm pretty sure somebody didn't wash the dishes properly, or at least didn't rinse them properly. So I complained on the app, got my money back for the drink. Sadly, didn't get any real drink. Then I just had water. But my lunch was good, but I'm never ordering from them again. I also had a stomachache for like the rest of the day, so I definitely think there was dish soap in that boba tea. So at last, things are getting back to normal, and I am on my way to the laundromat. as per my usual weekend routine. Looking forward to having an actual paycheck next pay period instead of working only 22 hours because that was rough. Also looking forward to my tax refund because I'm claiming both children this year. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a video from me. And let me know if you liked this new format. Remember to lead with empathy.